Southern New England's trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Your voice, your vote. It is the shakeup of election night in our area here in Southern New England. The Bristol County Mass Sheriff Tom Hodgson, in office since 1997, voted out by a narrow margin. Attleboro's mayor now set to don the sheriff's uniform, promising to bring more progressive policies to the county jail. ABC6 News reporter Yanni Trigelis is live in Attleboro. He caught up with the mayor this morning as he gets ready for this new challenge. Yanni?
Doreen. Well, Paul Heroux saying that he has not spoken to Thomas Hodgson yet, but he does expect a smooth transfer of power. At a press conference that just wrapped up a short time ago, he said that he is going to immediately work to mandate changes that have been in place for the 25 years that Thomas Hodgson has been in place. He says that he will work to lower recidivism rates, as well as discharge planning and working with community organizations when prisoners are released. Heroux unseating the long-standing Bristol County Sheriff Thomas Hodgson, who has served in the position since 1997 in last night's election. The tight race remaining uncalled last night and into this morning. Heroux, however, claiming victory, with Hodgson reportedly conceding late last night. This morning, Heroux sharing how he plans to implement new policies and improve conditions.
You're doing things based on best practices and what works and what's been peer reviewed and then research to work. So you implement stuff that works. What I'd like to do is take it a step further, not just implement what works, assuming that some of the stuff there is currently, evidence-based, measure everything and really be critical of ourselves.
Heroux also asked about plans for undocumented migrants in Bristol County, responding that he will leave that to a federal level, instead honing in on his plans to prepare inmates for discharge and not be reincarcerated. Now, Heroux, of course, mayor here in Attleboro, he says he will continue to serve as mayor until the day before he takes the sheriff position, saying he will submit his resignation for a later date sometime in the next couple of days, and that Attleboro will hold a special election. He says that is already in the works on planning that. Reporting live in Attleboro, Yanni Trigelis, ABC6 News.
All right, Yanni, thank you. And that red wave that some political observers thought would materialize, not coming to fruition in our area. Democrat Dan McKee coasted to victory in the Rhode Island governor's race, and Seth Magaziner held on to the 2nd District congressional seat, beating popular Republican Ellen Fung. In Massachusetts, Maura Healey won the governor's race in a landslide. We caught up with Congressman Jake Auchincloss, who represents much of Bristol County, as he heads back to Congress for another term.
Democrats hugely outperformed the historic trend because voters rejected extremism. Since the Great Depression, the president's party has lost on average 28 seats in the House. That's not going to be even close to the number in this cycle.
Auchincloss was hosting an affordable housing forum, calling that the biggest issue right now in the Bay State. He also talked about working financially in the field to help Democrats like in Rhode Island. Well, also in Massachusetts today, Governor Charlie Baker will meet with Maura Healey on Beacon Hill this afternoon. And with so many races still too close to call across the country, control of Congress and the future of President Biden's agenda is hanging in the balance. ABC's M. Wynn has more from Capitol Hill.
The votes are still being counted, but it appears neither Republican hopes for sweeping victories nor Democrats' fears of crushing defeats were realized. In Pennsylvania,
we bet on the people of Pennsylvania, and you didn't let us down.
Democrat John Fetterman winning Pennsylvania's open Senate seat. The lieutenant governor defeating Republican Mehmet Oz, who was endorsed by former President Trump. ABC News learning Oz called Fetterman this morning to concede. While Trump's endorsement didn't help Oz, another candidate he backed, Republican J.D. Vance, won his Senate race in Ohio.
We'll never forget where I came from, and I will never forget the great people of Ohio. Thank you for this honor to serve you.
His Democratic opponent, Representative Tim Ryan, calling out so-called election deniers in his concession speech.
The way this country operates is that when you lose an election, you concede.
Several other key Senate races, including Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Georgia, are still too close to call.
Keep the faith and keep looking up. Just hang in there a little bit longer.
If neither Democratic incumbent Raphael Warnock nor Republican challenger Herschel Walker gets to 50%, they'll face a runoff election next month, which, just like 2021, could have the state of Georgia deciding which party controls the Senate. And in the House,
it is clear that we are going to take the House back.
Republicans were predicting a red wave, but they may end up with the same slim majority Democrats have had for the last 2 years.
The Democrats were able to hold a bunch of their seats. They lost a few on the margins here, but they also picked up some Republican seats.
Republicans believe voters would focus on their dissatisfaction with the economy and President Biden's policies, but nearly 3 in 10 said that abortion rights was their top issue, just about the same as those who named inflation. M. Wynn, ABC News on Capitol Hill.
All right, now for the weather as we take a live look outside right now with our sky cam. Another day with these perfectly blue skies and lots of sunshine. Although, Kelly, it's a lot cooler than what we've been seeing.
Oh, yeah, but keep in mind, this is where temperatures typically are for us this time of year. I think it seems much cooler because on Monday we made it to the doorstep of 80 degrees. So yes, it does seem much cooler. But again, this is pretty average for us. Our dew point is at 30. It is quite dry out there, and we are at a point where our winds are calm. We're not registering a wind chill like we did to start earlier on. We have a huge dome of high pressure that is large and in charge of our weather, and as long as it's here, we get to enjoy clear skies at night and sun-filled days, and it's going to continue to stick around. Another clear sky is headed our way for tonight, and temperatures will be dropping off, although we're not going to start tomorrow in the 20s and 30s. I'll let you know what you can expect coming up in just a couple of minutes. Doreen?
All right, Kelly, thank you. And new at noon today, Pawtucket police investigating a robbery at a Family Dollar in the city. Police say last night, just after 8, a man walked in and took cash from over the counter. Witnesses saw a firearm handle in the suspect's waistband. Police are still looking for that suspect who you see in the photo here. If you know anything, Pawtucket police want to hear from you. And still to come here on the news at noon, the little store that sold a big winner will introduce you to the 75-year-old who sold the world record Powerball ticket out in California. And later, more changes on Twitter. The new gray check mark you may see today as the company rolls out changes to verification. Back now with story trending today, the massive Powerball jackpot, one winning ticket for the $2 billion prize. It was sold in Altadena, California. ABC's Will Carr has the details.
This morning, one lucky winner is waking up a billionaire.
We don't even know if they know they won.
The winning Powerball ticket coming in at just over $2 billion, shattering lottery records. It was sold at Joe's Service Center, a gas station near Los Angeles.
I work 6 days a week, almost 10 hours a day.
75-year-old Joe Shahayed has 11 grandkids. He's owned the store for more than 20 years and says he tells everyone who buys a lottery ticket that they're going to win big.
You're a winner, too. You won $1
I'm
million.
Too.
You get $1 million.
Yes, I'm a winner, too. I'm excited for that, too.
Since the winning ticket came from his store, Joe gets $1 million.
I'm going to spend it on my kids and my grandchildren.
And now the $2 billion question, who did he sell that once-in-a-lifetime ticket to, and what are they going to do? Take the lump sum payment just over $997 million, or take the full $2 billion spread out over 30 years. This comes after many Americans hoped they'd hit the jackpot. In a wild twist, the drawing delayed.
Because of a technical problem tonight, we are unable to bring you the Powerball drawing at this time.
Lottery officials saying unprecedented interest led to a security issue in Minnesota. Officials there now conducting a thorough review. Across the country, one prosperous player in Florida winning $2 million, while 22 more Powerball players in 16 states walking away with a $1 million payout.
We actually advise our big winners to take a little bit of time to get your affairs in order. As you can imagine, this is life-changing money.
In California, the winner's name has to be made public. They have a year to come forward to claim that prize, and the best advice that lottery officials have is that they need to hold on to that ticket for dear life. In Altadena, California, Will Carr, ABC News.
I'd say. All right, still to come here on the news at noon, massive job cuts at Meta, the latest on the layoffs and one of the biggest in the U.S. this year. And you'll notice some changes on Twitter today. What's with the gray official checkmark? Well, a big change in Pawtucket. The McCoy Stadium you grew up with, summer nights and fireworks shows, officially getting a facelift. That's after voters approved funding for a new combined high school there last night. ABC6 News reporter Natalie Norrie brings us the next steps in the construction plan.
The old Paw Sox Stadium has sat stagnant since 2019, and while the city of Pawtucket has mourned the loss of its old baseball team, they're about to see brand new life here at McCoy Stadium as a new high school is being built right on the grounds.
Time stands still at the old McCoy Stadium. Once it was a place for family and friends to go, now all that remains are the memories. But new life is being brought in after a vote passed in Tuesday night's midterm elections secured the funds to build a brand new high school on the site of the old diamond.
I think it's really kind of a unique situation where we're replacing a building that provided so much pride to the city with another building that will provide as much, if not more, pride to the city.
80% of voters checked the box in favor of securing $330 million in bonds for this new construction. There will also be some reimbursement from the state.
You know, it brought years of joy to this community, and like I said before, it was a sense of pride for this community. But the team has moved on, and quite honestly, the city has moved on.
The community, although sad to lose their team, also excited at how much more will be offered here, from career technical programs to after-school programs.
For me, it'd be good to make for play or for the kids, or more kids to enjoy the after-school, whatever.
Two of the oldest high schools in Pawtucket, Shea and Tolman, would be combined. But will there be any trace of McCoy left as the new building comes in?
What this building meant to this community for so many years, I can't see how we don't incorporate some of it into the new building.
The committee hopes to have their first plan submitted for review by February. The timeline of this new build will take place over the next 5 to 7 years, but they say they can't open a new building on this property without honoring the one that stood here for so long. For now, reporting in Pawtucket, Natalie Norrie, ABC6 News.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Kelly Bates.
So many awesome memories, right? We have a beautiful afternoon in progress. Hard to find a cloud, and the reason for that is high pressure. The same air mass that was here yesterday maintains its control for today. Our temperatures are coming up from, well, rather chilly lows. We began in the 20s in Killingly, and we began at 35 in Providence, and now we're well into the 40s. We've even hit 50 this check-in in Westerly, 52 currently over in New Bedford. It is pretty dry out there, and our winds are moving in air generally from the north. A northerly wind brings this cool, dry air right from Canada, and our wind speeds are generally pretty light. As we continue through the afternoon, our winds are going to become very light and variable, and really not a factor. It's just more of an item of interest, I guess. Satellite radar checking clear. High pressure's in charge. And as long as this high is here, we get to keep the sunshine. So what's going to happen is the area of high pressure is going to move. As it does, the air goes around the high. It circulates around the high in a clockwise manner. And that's why, to lead things off today, we're bringing in air from the north. But as it continues to slide by, moves offshore, it flips our wind direction to become southwesterly. Southwesterly wind here is a warmer wind direction. And as a result, your Thursday high temperatures are going to be in the 60s. After that, we're going to start to turn our attention to the south, because we're going to watch the increase in clouds and the development of showers as soon as Friday afternoon. And this is all expected to be the leftovers of what is now Tropical Storm Nicole. Now, the updates for the storm come out in another hour. So at 1 p.m., we get to see if the storm has finally become a hurricane, which it is expected to do. But right now, it is a tropical storm. Current maximum sustained winds are at 70 miles per hour, and it is expected to make landfall not once, but twice. First, making landfall tonight as a Category 1 hurricane, and then working its way across the Florida Peninsula, emerging into the Gulf, and then making a second landfall in the Panhandle region before working its way very quickly as a large mass of remnants. The thing about this storm is, don't think of everything isolated within the terms of the cone. It is a very wide storm, so it's going to take up a lot of real estate as it works its way up the coast and eventually into southern New England. This does have the potential of being a big rainmaker. After all, it is tropically enhanced rainfall. It has a lot of moisture associated with it. So the first round, from Friday to Saturday at midnight, our totals are expected to lead off in the form of showers. But once we hit the overnight, that's where the heavier rain comes into play. And we will likely, by the time we shut everything down by noon on Saturday, see totals across the region on the order of 1 to 2 inches, with locally higher amounts in portions of Connecticut. So that basically means we have the potential of localized urban flooding, and we're going to need the grates clear. So if you have a drainage grate near where you are, if you could do us all a favor and clear it off, we'd sure appreciate it. Your forecast for the remainder of the day: highs headed into the 50s, seasonably cool. Your average high is 55. Winds, again, becoming light and variable. Overnight tonight, clear and chilly. This is when we start to move in air from the southwest. And once we do that, we have that warmer air in place, which is why tomorrow is going to start warmer than where we began this morning. Thursday is going to be a pretty nice day, I have to admit. And that backside of the area of high pressure brings things back to, well, I'd say more comfortable levels. And then we bring in warmth and humidity associated with that tropical system for Friday into Saturday.
It's so strange to be talking about humidity at this juncture.
Right, but if you think about it, we are still in hurricane season till the last day of this month.
Okay, and as evident down in Florida, right?
Yes.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much.
Sure.
Some consumer news today. Meta, the parent company of Facebook, announced plans to lay off 11,000 of its workers. That is the largest job cut in the company's history. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg addressed the issue in a blog post where he apologized for the reduction in employees. Meta ad sales have been affected by various issues, including privacy changes and competition from rivals like TikTok. Last month, Meta posted its second quarterly revenue decline and said its profit is about 50% of what it was last year. Still ahead here at noon, a new season of The Crown is out today, where the series lands in the royal family timeline. In today's entertainment news, the new season of The Crown debuts today. It brings the series into the 1990s as a new cast tackles a turbulent time for the UK's royal family, including the Charles and Diana divorce. The timing, tricky for newly crowned King Charles III, who's trying to set a tone for his reign, while the show will revisit some of his most painful personal moments. Condé Nast is suing Drake and 21 Savage for using a fake cover story to promote their new album, Her Loss. The singers claimed the story would appear in Vogue magazine. Drake posted the fake cover story on social media and even thanked one of Vogue's editors for her support. The publisher's lawyer filed a complaint in federal court saying it is trademark infringement.
May look at it as being genius. Others may think that it's a little bit too edgy. So it's important for, creatives and artists alike to be mindful of what they're putting out there, to ensure that they own the rights and whatever they're putting out there for their audience to digest.
No comment on this lawsuit from Drake or 21 Savage. Still to come here on the news at noon, an age-old frustration with head lice revealed in ancient text. The fascinating discovery made by researchers. And Kelly has another look at your afternoon forecast right after this. Well, a fascinating dug-up discovery made in Israel. It's revealed the earliest known sentence ever written in an alphabet, and that sentence is, "May this tusk root out the lice of the hair and the beard." So it appears to refer to head lice in this ancient writing.
Was that like a comb?
There you go.
Was that like a...
I think so.
Wow.
Interesting, right?
Totally.
Which just makes you...
Right?
Right, a little bit.
It's all good.
Yeah, we're okay. We're okay.
Awesome day today.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah, continuation of this weather. Yes, we did have that chilly start, and temperatures will top out in the 50s, but that's actually what we typically do, your average high 55. Overnight tonight, we're not going as cold as we did this morning. We're going to start near 40, and that warmer start with the sunshine will yield us essentially a warmer afternoon. Then we turn our attention to what is now Tropical Storm Nicole, which will likely become Hurricane Nicole this afternoon, making landfall in Florida tonight. It will then be pushed into southern New England by a cold front. And along that front, we're going to see that rain develop in terms of showers Friday afternoon here. And it will become heavy rain overnight into Saturday morning. We could see rainfall totals of 1 to 2 inches, which means we could see localized street flooding if any of the storm drains happen to be clogged with leaves. So I can't emphasize that enough. We're going to need every storm drain. So
yeah, take advantage of the temps now to get that done. Exactly.
You got it.
Kelly, thanks. And thank you for joining us for the news at noon. The news continues first at 4. Have a great day, everybody.